Zohran Mamdani, the New York City mayoral candidate, very likely the city's next mayor, he did something pretty unusual this week. He went on Fox News, which you might not expect somebody like himself, who's on the farther left side of the Democratic Party, and is constantly attacked on their air. I mean, not a day goes by when they're not talking about him. In fact, a lot of their primetime hosts seem to use Mamdani as a punching bag to ignore a lot of the abuses of the Trump administration. We don't have to cover this stuff because we've got a huge scandal and controversy. Every time there's now a shooting in New York City, it's Mamdani's fault. He's not even the mayor yet. But violence in the city, Zohran did it. Zohran is the symptom of that problem. Anyways, he goes on their air this week. He does a live, I think it was a live interview. Maybe it was taped. He did an interview, and here's what he said.
President Trump said that you never worked a day in your life. You worked as an assemblyman, and you've had other positions in the government. But what qualifies you from your life experience to run the largest city in the country?
You know, I want to take this moment because you spoke about President Trump, and he may be watching right now, and I just want to speak directly to the president, which is that I will not be a mayor like Mayor Adams who will call you to figure out how to stay out of jail. I won't be a disgraced governor like Andrew Cuomo who will call you to ask how to win this election. I can do those things on my own. I will, however, be a mayor who is ready to speak at any time to lower the cost of living. That's the way that I'm going to lead this city. That's the partnership I want to build, not only with Washington, D.C., but anyone across this country. I think it's important because too often the focus on the needs of working class Americans, working class New Yorkers are put to the side as we talk more and more about the very kinds of corrupt politicians like Andrew Cuomo that delivered us into this kind of crisis.
Pretty remarkable, though, that he recognizes that Fox News is how you speak directly to Donald Trump. Like, do you want to talk to him? You come on this channel. We know the guy is watching all the time.
He did it again later in the interview with Andrew Cuomo and spoke directly into the camera to him, too. It was almost like he was speaking throughout this interview, not only to the Fox News audience, but directly to these audiences of one.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved Martha's question, too, which is, why are you qualified to run the city of New York? Somebody who has been an assemblyman and therefore been in New York politics, understands the city, unlike the current president of the United States, who prior to him running in 2016 had zero political experience, had run multiple businesses that went bankrupt, ran them into the ground, didn't even pay back his debtors. I mean, there's a litany of stories about that. Did they ever have him on the air and say, do you have any qualifications? I do think it's fascinating that was the question.
Well, there are a lot of these people, too, in the Republican Party now that have no prior experience, and that was celebrated, actually. They're getting rid of the swamp. What happened to, we don't like those swamp creatures. We want someone fresh and new, an outsider to shake things up. I mean, if anything, Zohran should be celebrated on Fox News for that, not berated for, no experience. And so I thought that was quite a line of questioning from Martha as well.
Yeah, I mean, they have clearly, if Martha's not saying it there, she's maybe hinting at it, these concerns from Republicans, recognizing that very likely he's going to win, but they've constantly portrayed him as the avatar of like socialism, right? Mm-hmm. He wants to effectively turn New York City into this, I don't even know, it's like dystopian world in which socialism reigns, prices soar through the roof, and homelessness is rampant. They're going to be taking over the bus lines and the subways because he's going to make buses for free. The guy doesn't know what he's doing because he's a socialist. And so it seems like you're getting that. I thought it was really smart of him, though, to take that question and instead pivot off it and turn directly to the camera and say, these other two New York City mayor candidates, I'm not going to be like that because you have them in your pocket, more or less. And I thought that was like politically a smart move for him to take the airwaves and go direct like that.
Yeah, I think he's one of this a member of this new class of Democratic politician who's quite effective actually when they go on Fox News because they defuse and dismantle a lot of the arguments that are used against him on the network. And that's what you saw there throughout the entire interview was a question that probably wasn't coming necessarily in the best faith, but him taking the question and then hitting it out of the park. And he did that over and over and over again. And it's, very much so why he's likely to be the next mayor. He's very media savvy. You know, he came up via social media. That's how people first learned about him in the city. At least a lot of people did. They saw him on Instagram Reels or TikTok or wherever. And he's not only good in that new media setting, but he's also proving he's very good when it comes to doing traditional media. And he can take those questions all day long and deliver answers that I think tend to appeal to more than just his liberal base, but also to New Yorkers across the spectrum. I don't know if they'll end up switching, but I can imagine, Brit Hume, for instance, after this interview said that, he might be a socialist, but he's a talent. And I think that's telling that even Fox News is recognizing his ability to convey a message.
Yeah, I think it says quite a bit. It also says a lot about what we're in this moment. Like you said there, you see Gavin Newsom, who was pretty deep in terms of the placement and thinking of where 2028, the next presidential election, will be. Now he's really zoomed to the top, in part because he's really taken a more combative approach to bad faith attacks on social media. He's gone directly into the Fox den and talked to Fox News hosts. He did that debate on their air a while ago with Ron DeSantis, which was super weird. But I do think that is maybe a new strategy here that we're seeing play out. And for Zohran, he got a ton of headlines out of that interview, mostly about the way he turned and went directly to Trump on their air. And I think that was really smart.
There's a common theme here too, that these politicians that are succeeding in the media, they also look like they're having some fun, right? Like Gavin Newsom mocking Donald Trump. It's like funny. It's like there's like some humor in it. There's some fun and like life in there. Zohran's campaign is very youthful. Like you can tell he's having fun on the campaign trail. AOC, when she first rose, like you can tell that there's like this like energy that is often not encapsulated by the Democratic Party, which often feels very stiff, very old, very cringe at times. And these new figures that are emerging, they just seem to be having a little bit of fun as they're communicating their message. And I think that's important. And it's a good I think lesson for Democrats or something.
It definitely looks more authentic and less forced. They don't look uncomfortable. Like, oh God, I'm getting an uncomfortable question. How do I deal with this? Sort of like how Pete Hegseth is currently dodging the press at all times. They seem ready to confront it. Like they relish it.
Thank you for watching Power Lines. For more analysis and insight, subscribe to our YouTube channel down below, like this video, and you can watch more of us right over here.